Welcome back, and today we are playing out the JH7, the non-premium, at 11.3, which means that these are some of the lowest battle rating IRCCM missiles that you will find in the entire game. And they are no slouch, and despite only having 2 of them, they are very potent. Now they work the same way as the R73, that they clamp down the FOV, and they are incredibly quick. As you can see right here, they burn very fast, they accelerate really quickly, and then the missile trail goes out, making these things absolutely perfect for orbital striking. Because again, with the contrail change, we are now able to actually go to meaningful altitudes without instantly getting spotted. And especially at BRs like this, where not everyone has a super powerful radar, we can actually now move over the battlefield and then come down directly on top of everyone. And this is basically the most reliable way to play it. And not the most fun way, but if you play this way, you are basically guaranteed to get 2 kills every time you descend. They are incredibly strong, people don't expect it, and even if they do know how to flare these missiles, very often they won't have the amount of flares to actually defeat them. And if they do defeat them, they probably run out of flares, and now every missile they run into has IRCCM. Issue is MiG-23s. We get an R-24 shot at us. I notice it in time. I'm able to pull over it. Fox 1 missiles are the bane of your existence, especially the Russian ones. Sparrows you can at least try and roll. And R-24s, R-27s, you're gonna have a bit of an issue. Backed up by the water pistol 23mm that is absolutely abhorrent to aim, because the plane is honestly pretty unstable. Now luckily your main armament is gonna be the 2 missiles that you have, and they will net you 2 kills basically every match. After that you become a pretty decent plane actually. Now you don't have any offensive capabilities of course, because you only have the gun. But luckily you have a pretty decent airframe, and very often you will find that you can out-dogfight a lot of things that you run into. Especially at 11.3, because let's be honest, the other JH7 at 12.3 already had a pretty decent airframe. Especially on release, that thing was a bit of a menace. And now we have it at 11.3. So when you get these matches where you don't have any planes like the J7E running around that are actually pretty much always in your team, you're gonna have a bit of a field day. Now right here we are down tiered and we are still at high altitude. We are at about 6 kilometers. And no, I'm not gonna say it, but you're going to get a trauma response for me saying this anyway. The issue is that the map is littered with clouds, and we can't actually lock onto anyone like this, so it's not the best position to be in, and we get locked by an F4. Now luckily we get down tiered, so I know it's a non-pulse Doppler variant, so I just drop a little bit of chaff. We break off from the trajectory, and I like to pre-chaff a little bit here and there, especially in the early stages. And there he is. I had no idea that he was there, but we should be able to dogfight this guy pretty reliably. So we merge with him, we keep it somewhat in a flat turn, and then once we notice that he is at the bottom of his loop, we start going horizontal and we transition into going vertical, and this opens up the distance a little bit. And with the performance that we have the ability to pull our nose directly onto his plane. We severe him with a singular shell, and then we go back down into the thick of it. There's a lot of clouds around. I don't like being here in particular, but the FHU decides to kind of just turn in front of me and give me his ass. So we are just gonna wait a little bit longer. There are some flares in the air. I'm not really all too worried about missiles coming at me. We squeeze the trigger and we send someone else back to the spare part bin. Another 2 F4s show up, the F4Es, and I'm just gonna point my nose at them and shoot. I haven't used my missiles yet, and if I get within like 1.2 kilometers with that missile, especially from the rear, they are probably going to die. F4 comes in, he isn't really paying attention to us. We squeeze the trigger just, well, we shoot around him really. It's not really just over or under lead. I just missed my shot entirely. It's also because this rudder is pretty atrocious. It's not the reason I just missed that. I missed anyway, but this plane is a little bit unstable and is not the best for going into furballs and gunning down multiple people. Nor is it great at shooting at people that are flying straight away from you at high speed. Luckily the missile is pretty good at killing those people, so we just send it his way, and you can tell the acceleration of that missile is incredibly fast, and people basically have no time to react, and if they do, well, the missile is so close that the FOV clamping will just kill them anyway. There is really no way to counter this missile if they get like within 800 meters on your 6. And even if you pre-flare, you don't have that many flares at this battle rating, and you can't pre-flare forever. So if the J7 just kind of hold fire, eventually he's going to get the missile off and you are completely shit out of luck. And there is assist number 1 on top of kill number 4, and that's essentially the match. Now there is one guy left, and it's an A10. It's an A10A, and you can tell that in these full down tiers I get to just kind of fly around for free. So we merge with the A10. He's probably going to shoot an aim 9L at us. He doesn't even do that. He goes downwards. So that means that we are going to go straight vertical. We drop a little bit of speed. We drop a little bit of throttle. And we fall directly on top of him and get behind him basically in a singular loop. Now the A10 is of course not the most dangerous plane to run into. But you still need to be careful of everything around the A10, because the A10s like to fly low to the ground. I'm fully expecting this plane to go up and beyond, and even though it's a bit of a missile meme bus, it still has a pretty solid flight model. And when you look at something like the A10C, which is at 11.7 because it happens to have 4 AIM-9Ms instead of 2 PL5E2s, it's a bit diabolical to have these on this kind of airframe at this kind of a BR. Because I think that even the A10C has no business being 11.7 in Arabi, because having to deal with these missiles is an absolute pain in the ass when you only have 16 countermeasures, as a lot of these planes actually do. I don't think these planes have much of a place when it comes to the sandbox, but you know, for now it is what it is. I'm not entirely sure how the J87 prototype plays. It's basically the same thing, but it has 4 instead of 2 missiles. And I would actually say that it's going to be the better Mirage F1C, because it has 4 confirmed kills essentially, because the Mirage has a worse flight model and the radar missiles on it aren't that great anyway. So potentially the J87 prototype is going to be pretty good, but I have to play it out yet. I'm not going to be shilling it just yet. I want to try it. I'm going to make a video on it in the future, but for now we are just going to take a look at this thing right here. And as you can tell, I'm trying to kind of scour around the edges of the map, and here we get picked up by an F4, a Tornado, and a J7, or at least the J7 is in the vicinity, and I'm not about to dogfight those two guys with the J7D looming. So I'm gonna turn around and use the mountains here to actually block the radar of the Kunas, because I don't really want to deal with that thing right there, at least not with the radar missile. So I'm just gonna go hug this mountain right here. He's gonna fly directly at us, and yes, I'm gonna warn you in advance, this match was full of paid actors, at least from this point forward. So we use the terrain here, we pitch up over, we drop the fuel tanks, and we go straight up over his nose. We merge a little bit close, and that's good, because this plane is pretty good in this instantaneous kind of turn. We pitch in, and we instantly get onto his 6. Now unfortunately he's a little bit too quick now, so I'm not able to really outrun him, but then he pitches up and does a bit of a barrel roll, and I know there is a guy that's about to rock up on my right. I see him there, J7, but I see this J7D stalling, so I'm pre-flaring, because most J7D pilots aren't able to aim, and instead of the J7D pilot being unable to aim, an F5C comes out of a literal bumfuck nowhere and spiked me from directly below. I had not seen that guy, and we are crit now. Luckily it's symmetrical and it's only in the middle of my plane, and my engines are undamaged. So for now I'm actually able to run away from them. Now is this sustainable? Definitely not, but the shocking might surprise you with a red circle on the thumbnail. We are just running away at this point, and I'm gonna try and help out the Jag over here. AV8S running in front of me. We just click him out of his misery, and we continue on our way. J7D, F5 and a Tornado working in perfect harmony to give me the best clip of the century. Thank you very much for that. And now I just need to 1v1 Mr. Nutter Guy. What a terrific name. Another 2 J7Ds crash in the background, and just like that, with pure aura, I killed half the enemy team. We pitch up over his nose, and I'm thinking that the extra bit of damage makes it so that I'm gonna lose a bit of extra speed, so I should be able to reverse the F5C. Unfortunately, the F5C is throttle dropping and is gonna be a lot more nimble than we are in his current situation. So I'm gonna try to throttle up a little bit here, and then when I'm on the bottom of his loop, I'm gonna got throttle, drop the flaps, try to turn inside of him. Then the jag that I helped out earlier comes back, and the F5C plants it into a tree. Absolute cinema, and as Jeremy Clarkson would say, that's all thanks to the jag. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.